Masters. The Money Masters are joining us today. Let's hear from David. Is David here today? David, how are you today? Welcome.
Hi, Ash. How you doing?
Good, very good. David, great to have you here today. I know that we are running a little bit behind time, so thank you for accommodating us. I think you're live at a conference or something right now, right? So
yes, last minute I got to talk to UBS and Credit Suisse, so I had to make the
well,
exception to come here.
Well, when the Swiss banks come asking to speak to you, you definitely got to make time, right? Because we all know that the Swiss banks, they're always good to meet up, and they're also great customers to have, right? So best of luck with that. So we'll try to make sure it stays focused. So David, just so the audience knows, can you tell us where you're joining us from?
Yeah, so today I'm in Lausanne in Switzerland, but we're actually based out of Geneva in Switzerland.
Got it. So we're gonna stick around in Switzerland today, and as everyone knows, we're gonna travel around the world and listen to different startups today as part of today's session. But David, what we're going to do is just to kind of zero in, we're going to do your elevator pitch. What will happen is you can see I'm in a virtual elevator right now. Once I hit the top of the elevator, I will introduce myself, okay? And we can get your 1-minute pitch on Money Masters. Are you ready, sir?
Ready to go.
All right. Hi, David. My name is Ash Singh. I am a son of somebody who's parked a lot of money here in Switzerland. And I can't tell you who that person is, but I'm looking to invest in startups. And I heard about what you're doing with money. And so tell me, David, tell me a little bit more about what you're working on. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries, Ash. Thanks for your time. My name is David Giron. I am the CEO of Money Masters.
Yes.
And obviously, as you might know, there's a big problem with the financial inequality gap, but there's an even bigger problem with financial education. Actually, around the world, over 67% of the population is financially illiterate. And even when you look at a top country like the United States, over 100 million people lack the most basic understanding of finance. But that's what we created Money Masters, a fun and easy way to learn about money. With the help of financial and education professionals, we created a gamified and interactive financial journey that takes our users from the very basics of personal finance all the way down to understanding complex topics like investing and even trading, all from the palm of their hands. Today, we have over 26,000 users, showing a 36% stickiness ratio and growing at 20% month on month. On top of that, we have partnered with 3 financial institutions who selected us from over 200 edtech startups to train their users and potential new clients in the aspects of finance. Today, the platform is built. We just want to focus on growth, and we're raising $1 million so that we can keep growing and making financial education accessible to all.
Got it. Excellent. That was a great pitch, David. Thank you very much. Let's talk about Money Masters. Okay. And part of these sessions, David, is about introducing the product to the market. When we think about a problem, typically when we think about an investor pitch, there's problem solution fit, there's product market fit, and then obviously the willingness to pay. So we all know that financial illiteracy is kind of a root cause issue. The reason why we like what you're working on is everyone says that there's 2 ways of looking at problems, right? People say that healthcare is unaffordable, right? Housing is unaffordable. There's a lot of things that are unaffordable, and that's true. I'm not doubting that the price of housing and stuff is going up, and there's wage stagnation. But I always ask myself that, you do see some people who, took some good accounting courses or had parents that taught them a little bit more about finance. They seem to be a lot more better off than people that are earning the same amount of money, David. Does that make sense? Right?
100%.
And so when I look at this, it's about things that you can control and things that you can't control. And so the reason why we love what you're working on is because, you know, what's in your mind and your process, your paradigm, the way you think, the way you process the world, you know what I mean? You know, it's like, you know, I want to get a little bit more financially better off, but I'm still you know, paying top dollar for my avocado, Starbucks avocado latte milkshake that, do you know what I mean? You know, and I'm dropping $10 a day on that. And other things, right? So you kind of see this balance that needs to be had, right? And so I want to dig into, you know, because you talked about this idea of 65%, 67% of people being financially illiterate, and you also have like a stickiness rate, a 26% stickiness rate. The question I have for you is, you know, what are the outcomes that you want to build, right? So, and again, your pitch was great, but let's talk a little bit about what the desired outcomes is. And then David, where does this business go, right? So people are using it, right? And there's different types of people, right? So David, on the likes of like UBS and Credit Suisse, if you're dealing with private bankers and rich people, it's okay, right? Because they still have money. They're just going to make a little bit more money, right? There might be other people, like of the people, the 26,000 or the 20,000 plus users that you have, you know, I'm interested to know kind of what they feel are the outcomes, both in terms of mental confidence and actual result, right? Because you can learn something, David, and here's the truth. I think I know how to lose weight, okay? I also know how to get a six-pack, David, okay? But I still don't have the six-pack. Do you know what I mean? You know, still don't have it for some reason, David. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you know, I'm waiting for Zoom to kind of create this filter where I just have the automatic six-pack. Do you know? But that's not happening. Does that make sense, David? Let's dig into so two questions, and I know I've been a little bit long-winded, but the first question is around the result, right, that you hope to have with which type of audience too, David, right? Because this product, especially when you start off, you know, there's going to be some people that love it and use it and apply it, and then there's some people that are just gonna, you know, so that early adopter group. And then the second question, David, is how do you monetize it, and where is this business going? Okay, where is this business in 5 years? Go ahead.
Fantastic. And if you don't mind, if I could take just a little bit of time, because I want to touch on something you touched that was fantastic.
Go ahead, please.
Exactly that. The first thing is we got to change our mindset. I mean, I agree that there's the 1% that is super rich and they don't really care what they do. But the reality is that most of us are either they live day to day, you know, working class or below. You know, it's all about a mindset. And sadly, we live in this society today where TikTok and Instagram is selling you these fake dreams, and we aim to chase those things. We want to get rich tomorrow. But what I try to teach, and if I could summarize all my application in three things, is if you apply these three things in your life will change. The first thing is live under your means. If you make $1,000, find a way to live with 900. You know, live within your means. The second thing is, if you're gonna invest, you're not gonna be the next crypto millionaire. You're not gonna be the next Warren Buffett. Unless you're willing to spend countless hours learning about finance, don't try to choose stocks. Go on an ETF, something like the SPY, so the S&P 500, and just let it compound over time. And the last thing, and probably the most important, is pay yourself first. Every time you get a salary, allocate a percentage that you're going to save. No matter what happens, you're going to save it. It can be 10%, it can be 5%. You got to start somewhere. But if you pay yourself first at the beginning of the month, that money goes directly to your saving account or to the investing account. What that will make is that at the end of the month, you will find a way to survive. Because today, what we end up doing is we say, I'll see how much I can save at the end of the month. And what happens is you never save anything because you always justify your purchases as needs. I need the newest iPhone. No, you don't. You're justifying your purchase. So these are just three takeaways, which is just the mindset that if you take those three things from our courses, you are en route to having a good financial future.
Yes.
But
So,
maybe,
so,
maybe,
so, so,
yep.
David, if I may, because I want to jump into that, because that didn't come out in your pitch. Okay. So my question to you, and this might relate to the big picture, is right now you are kind of playing the ed tech role. Are you moving into the future where there is a little bit of real financial management on your platform, right? Where people are inputting information and, it's kind of like the weight loss app, right? Where you plug in your calories and stuff like that, because that didn't come out in your pitch. So I just wanted to know if that's
So,
part.
so right now we completely focus on the ethics space. We do see in the future, maybe we'll go a bit more into the banking and investing sort of things, but today is just education. And the idea is to really paint a really clear picture of how using some of these strategies can help you. And maybe maybe just jumping into the next question, because I think it lines up quite
Yeah,
nicely, is
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yes, we're not trying to say, hey, buy our products, because I think the problem is whenever you have a product that you're trying to sell, then you have a bias. So whatever I'm teaching you now, it becomes biased towards selling my product. What we
Sure.
want to do is actually partner up with banks and all the institutions that will give you access to more products. What
Yeah.
we're doing is just explaining you the alternatives that exist out there. What is an ETF? What is a pension fund? What is a mutual fund, right? So you understand at least the universe that you have to invest. There's one more thing that we do take care of is the gamification piece. We have an investment game where you can either join different length tournaments, you compete against your friends, and you can have $100,000 to invest. So then you at least understand how the market works and how time affects your investments. So we
Mm.
do want to give you that experience, but risk-free. And the best thing is that there's actual real rewards for those users that use the application consistently and win in the tournaments.
So, so that, I mean, it kind of relates to this, right? Because, and again, David, I'm, as I listen to you, I always try to, when you're giving your pitch, if you can come back to the customer themselves.
Mhm.
And so, how you spoke about the 67% of people are financially illiterate, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And what you're saying is that as part of my ed tech platform, right? Because you use the word ed tech and gamification, I actually, I actually would suggest a different word as part of your gamification, and that is like real-time scenario. Does that make sense? A
Yeah, for sure.
real-time risk-free scenario, because it's like this. If you asked people in Canada or North America, how many people are hesitant, when you go swimming, okay? There's a lot of people that also can't swim. And then you have people like me who had parents that just threw us in the deep end, and lots of kids were like, okay, if we lose one, it's okay. We'll throw them in the deep end, see what happens, right? But there's this hesitation, right, David?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, what I think Money Masters is, and this is part of your secret sauce, is your gamified platform allows them to test a scenario where they pay themselves first. They're living within their means. They're putting stuff in ETFs. And suddenly, my bank account over the next 100 days is different. Okay. And I'm seeing it. And then there's a button that says, hey, do you want to apply this in your life? And they can jump and actually do it. Does that make sense? Right?
100%.
What happens is there's two elements to this, because you've talked about being financially illiterate, but I think that there's a word called financial hesitation. Is that right? Okay, right. And I just like, because I want to get a six pack, but do you know what I mean? Like when I need to work out, for some reason, like I walk by my TV and I walk by my kitchen and there's popcorn there and the Netflix, do you know what I mean? And, I still haven't, but there's hesitation, right, David? Is
I
that
think
right?
that is a great comparison. I think,
Right?
and just maybe if I can interrupt, is
Yeah.
exactly that. Because in order to get your finances right, it's about doing it every day. Every day you save a little bit. And it's tough, like you said, there's the popcorn, there's all these things that you want to maybe do when you're trying to get on a diet. In the same way, if you turn on your TV, if you look at Instagram, you're bombed with commercials and like
Yeah.
places to spend your money. So the temptation is there. And
Yeah.
it's just how you manage that day to day. So I agree. It's a great reference.
The fundamentals haven't really changed, right? And we also know that there's a lot of like TikTok and Instagram, there's a lot of just garbage, right? Like it's not going to get you anywhere, right? The fundamentals haven't changed. Like your local bank's ETF is not a bad option, right, David? Is that fair to say? Right? No matter where you live. And so I want to build out your pitch, because your pitch was great, David, right? But my job is to kind of zero in on your secret sauce, right? Because your secret sauce, I feel, David, there's tons of information out there. Like going ETFs is not rocket science, right, David? Is that fair to say? I mean,
100%.
you know
100%
it,
with you.
I know it. What you're dealing with Money Masters is focusing on a certain segment of the financially illiterate, but actually dealing with financial hesitation. Okay. Right. And that's kind of where your secret sauce is. And so what happens is through this idea of this risk-free scenario gamification plan, you start to bring them over, right? And your metric, if people are financially illiterate, it's safe to say they're all financially hesitant, right? And you bridge them over. That's what you do. Okay. Right. My last question, David, because it sounds like a great idea. How does Money Masters make money? How do the Money Masters make money? How do they master money? Go ahead.
No worries. There's two ways. So right now, on a B2C segment, what we do is we monetize through advertising. So as you're going through your levels, there'll be ads served. We're also working now with partnerships. So for example, eToro, for every customer that we can get to eToro so they can buy their ETF on eToro, we get paid per customer. And then on the other side, on the B2B, we're also white labeling our solution. So the banks that want to educate their users, they can actually just grab all the gamification, everything that's already built into a platform, redesign it with a logo, with their colors, and actually even create their own content. So not only can they teach them about basics of finance, they can also talk about their own products. So they pay us obviously a licensing fee for this. Today we have one white label partner, and hopefully a second one coming at the end of this September.
Got it. White label. All right. So this is going to be fun. David, you know what's really fun for the audience to watch? This is where you hear somebody like David who's done a great pitch, and you can see in the chat, right? Great pitch. Congrats. Everyone loved your pitch. You know what's even more fun, David? When you do a great pitch and with zero prep, I have to do something and put myself on the line, live for thousands and thousands of people around the world, right? So I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that this is always, no stress for me, when somebody does a great pitch and I have to step up and make it work. But what I want to do is I'm going to challenge your pitch, and I'm going to come into this concept of financial hesitation. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about how you actually generate, right, a seamless way of generating money. And before I do that, you're looking for money, right? You're looking for $1 million to make this work. My last question before we start, on the topic of financial hesitation and the gamification, give me some data, because I still need to know, after they use your platform, how much more, mentally confident are they? Like they know what to do. And secondly, how many of them actually go about improving and make a tangible difference in their financial journey? Can you give me some data on that?
So I think it's tough to measure just because we don't really have any financial association once they get off our platform. But what I can give you is the particular feedback that we've gotten from users. So we do have a lot of users that hated the stock market, thought it was a rigged game, and just were very negative whenever it comes to banks or anything like that. And what they come back to us is actually they say thank you. Like now I see the financial industry in a different way. I understand there's still very bad players, but I also understand that if I know the tools that exist, I can actually use the ones that are available to me.
Mm,
So I think that's been very interesting for us. So it's tough to really tell you who is, how much we're changing the life of the overall. But what
yeah.
we are seeing overall is that as our users get to play in our tournaments and they get to do at least up to level 10, they're more confident on taking
Sure.
action, especially on basic investments like we just talked about an
Yeah.
ETF. But they
Yeah.
do become more confident past a certain level.
Yeah. Got it. All right. David, would you like me to attempt to pitch your idea back to you?
Please
Uh,
do, please do. I
okay.
can always get
So,
better, so let's do it.
well, let's see how it goes. You get to introduce yourself, and I will, I'll pitch them the Money Masters platform to you. Okay, you're looking for $1 million, and let's see how we go with it. All right, over to you. Go ahead.
Sounds good. So, Ash, pleasure meeting you. My name is David. I am the CIO here at TX Ventures, and we hear about Money Masters, but we would like to learn a lot more. What are you
Excellent.
doing?
Thank you very much, David, for your time. My name is Ash Singh, and I'm one of the members of the Money Masters team. As you might know, 67% of the developing world, and probably the developing world, is financially illiterate. And we live in a world where we think about housing inaffordability. Healthcare is not affordable. There's all these challenges we see in the world. And, there's different ways of looking at this problem. One is the fact that obviously costs are going up, but we as humans have become confined in this consumption culture. And I have spent the last 10 years looking at this problem, and I believe Money Masters has solved this problem. And the way we look at it is very simply, when we look at people, everyone knows things like, living between your means, buying some ETFs, paying yourself early to start saving for your future. All of that stuff is there, but we've discovered that through our gamified methodology, we can help people not just learn this, but put them in a scenario where they can go through the process and see how it would actually work in the real world and how their bank account balance will change, and help them increase their confidence, right? Whilst learning all the different elements of the financial industry to help them remove their financial hesitance, which is a word we've coined. And through that journey, we think that we can transform the industry. We've already got our first 26,000 users. We are partnering with banks and other institutions to make sure that this knowledge and process and methodology is adopted so we can make a big difference in the financial literacy of the world and hopefully make the world a better place. I'm looking for $1 million to take this to the next level. I look forward to chatting with you about how we've built it, how the gamified engine works, and some of the banks that have already expressed interest to white label our app. Thank you.
Fantastic. That was good.
Is that all right, David?
Oh yeah, yeah. I really like the consumption culture, the gamified methodology. I mean, the financial education. I mean, these are great words, very relatable.
Okay. Well, these words now, David, are yours. Okay. So for the last 3 minutes, I was your co-founder and pitchman. So, we want your success, both personally, David, for you. But I feel like this is something that's so needed in the conversation, right? This idea of getting people back in control, right? Control the controllables, David, okay? I want to see your product working, David, and I want banks to introduce your product when the person's like, 10 years old, okay?
Yeah.
Get them early, get them saving, you know what I mean? And I also love the idea of that scenario modeling, right?
Yeah.
And making sure that you become that resource to remind people and make it work. So I want to thank you again, David, and accommodating us during your busy schedule today. And we look forward as part of the Hyper Accelerator to be part of your journey. And I want to thank you again for your time. Have a wonderful day, David. Cheers.
Thank you, Ash, and all the guys. Thank you. And
Thank
good
you.
luck,
Cheers.
guys.